Well, guys, I'm getting ready to go to my interview tomorrow. I'm going to go to Santa Anita racetrack. I got to bring my social security card and ID, and then I'll sign up for with I believe her name was Alexis. I didn't even know she was even still there. So this is like the Breeders' Cup weekend is for the next 2 weekends. So I'll be in Santa Anita, and that's when I go. I'll work in one job I have is I'll work in the banquet room. I'll set up the banquet. I gotta learn how to do like the forks and set up the plates. Then like there's like a endless champagne thing. So you go. I keep taking champagne cups back, and then sometimes I'll sell buckets of beer to people. And then my other duty is I gotta go to the kitchen. So when you go to the kitchen at Santa Anita, they have the salads, all the salad dressings one sections, the salads in another, and then there's like the section where the people do all the cooking, and you wait for them to like make your order. So you have to double check your order, and what you usually do is like you have the uh, servers, banquet server thing. So you have either a small little oval, like one that's 1 foot, or you have the big platter. I remember when I was working there last time, I think I had a problem with my back or something, so I didn't take the big platters, so I took the smaller platters. So that's what I'm going to do this time coming around. And then I'll work in another room where they'll have me, I'll get drinks for people, so I'll do that. So, and then what it is, like the way you get there is like you go through Santa Anita, and there's like this secret tunnel. So the tunnel takes you under everything, and it brings you up into a kitchen. So it's kind of like a little hidden entryway like that. There's like tunnels all under Santa Anita, and that's how you get around to moving around. So that's what I'm going to be doing the next weekend. So I start at 6 a.m. and it's over at 9 p.m. So I'm going to be tired, man. But the only thing I like about this one, though, sometimes people do tip on the credit cards, and you may make maybe, depends. Sometimes you can make $50 in a night. Sometimes you make 100. Then I believe I got to tip $20 to the waiters and $20 to someone else. And there's like all this nomenclature about the percentage of tips that you're supposed to get. So, and then even if you don't get tips, you give them a little something. Hey, I didn't make any money. You didn't make any money. But hey, just for you doing the work, let me tip you. So it's the only thing. I don't know all the intricacies about tipping. Because usually I work also at the BNP tennis tournament, and it's the same thing. We put all the tips in one jar, and at the end, we so-called believe it's fair to split. So I've been reading this one book. It's called Split the Difference, and one thing I liked that the book talked about was, what is the definition of fair? That's it's like they say, fair is like everyone has different interpretations of what fair is. Just because you say you have $100, just because you give me 50, that doesn't mean I think it's fair. I might say, hey, I've done more work, and hey, I should get all of it, and you should get zero. And you may think, hey, I've done a lot of work, I should get 60 instead of 40. So I think that's something good. So I'm going to try that out. And that's one thing when you work with tips. It's always, I laugh how they put all the tips together and we split them. I'm like, why don't you just get your money you make, keep your money, I keep my money. I mean, it's like rent control. Like everybody's got to be equal. It's like, well, you can't raise your rent more for this person than that person, or you can only raise it 5% plus the consumer index. I mean, everything is so complicated. Just say, pull your weight, man. If you can't pull your weight, get fired. I mean, that's why I just laugh. Like back during the Great Recession of July 2008, when companies didn't have any money coming in to cover their payrolls, and when the car dealerships didn't have any money to pay their employees, they just shut down. I didn't see anybody going when these places were laying off thousands of employees, the bank offices were closing, and the car dealers going out of businesses. I didn't see anyone saying, hey, that's not fair, let's give them money to keep open. Or there were some businesses that begged enough that they got the bailouts, but overall, you didn't see anything like that. But now that the economy is sort of rolling along, hey, let's all be fair. I mean, what does fair mean? I guess I'm just harping because I saw California pass this rent control law. It's just, I lived in San Francisco. The homeless people are everywhere because as soon as that person moves out of that rent-controlled unit, the owner can raise it. Say the owner raises it $50. Okay, the rent now is $1,850. And you have a person where, like, if it's anything like here in Southern California, unless you like work for an internet startup, you have someone working at a fulfillment/warehouse, Amazon. So I think 15 times 40 is 600. 600 times 4 is 2,400. Once you take out the taxes, that's say $1,700 left. So the rent is $1,008 something. I don't know, $858. So the person is not even making enough in their salary to pay the rent unless they get a roommate. Other than that, where are they going to go? Either home, live in their car. I've done that. That sucks, man. That does not work, man. Maybe if you had a mobile home or something, you do like some of these homeless people do, but no, it does not work. So you still have a difference of $100 between what that person's salary is and what the rent is. So what does that mean? That person's either they're going to live at home, live in their car, or maybe be on the street, homeless, or have to live with roommates. So now if you were to just let that owner like raise the rent with whatever he wanted, he would have jacked the rent up past a certain point. You kind of like you force him, like he wants to pay, the rent could be $1,500. I don't want to raise it $25, but now you hit him with rent control. You say, oh, you can only increase your rent by $20 or something, like $50 a year or something, hypothetically. Now, as soon as that person goes out, that owner says, hey, I want to get the money back that I lost, and he jacks it up. So instead of having like a rent that's $1,600, he hits it to $800 and $1,900. And now there's another person who has a low salary who can't qualify for it. Where are they going to end up? In the ghetto, Section 8, or on the street. So that's why I laugh at this thing of fairness. It's just, it doesn't work. It doesn't work in a democratic society. So that's why you see all these politicians trying to pass all these laws on, let's get free health care. You know why they want to do free health care? Because politicians can't control the economy. They don't know how to sell. They don't know how to sell. They don't know how to run a business. They just know how to get. And they're never going to really turn their backs. They do turn their backs on businesses, but eventually the business gets big like Amazon, and then they have to kiss the ring. What can we do for you, Mr. Amazon, to bring your $15 an hour jobs in? So at least so you can help us gentrify our neighborhood. Because the only people who are going to be able to stay in the neighborhood are going to be the managers, the supervisor, and the owner of the companies. And we can ship all these poor people out to the ghetto, where I grew up at. I had to get the hell away from. So that's why I just laugh at some of this stuff when it talks about fairness. So another thing I liked about the book, it's called Split the Difference. You should read it. It's how he just talks about how the word no, you should just get the word, just because he talked about how one reason you shouldn't compromise is because if you do a bad deal, in the end, a bad deal is better no deal is better than a bad deal, because once the deal is over, unless you make sure you understand the numbers, you get something out of it, you end up getting something where you're negotiating, where there's some things you may not have wanted more money, but you may have wanted more services, more information, or something. And you just say, hell, well, let's just compromise and split the difference. I just think that book is awesome. That is an awesome book. Go buy it. Split the Difference. So, but yes, but that's why I'm heading off to Santa Anita, because, the only way you can really split the difference in America now is you got to bring that money in, man. I mean, that's why I like drive. I guess the reason it's come to me, I finally did the calculation. My rent's $1,870, and you have Amazon hiring for the Christmas season for $15. When all their taxes are gone out, they only have $16. That's still a $200 difference. So even if people have to you have like the roommate situation, or the person's living at home. So I'm thinking, basically, you have a generation of young people. Instead of getting a place to live, they'll take that money and buy a car. So I go to the gym a lot. You'll just see like a lot of the people after they leave the gym. Unfortunately, it's men, because unless you're gay, you ain't gonna have a guy stay with you and like do the deed with them. So they mostly just take showers at the gym and hang out in their cool cars, and I guess they go find somewhere to sleep, or maybe their mama says, hey, don't come home until 9 or 10 o'clock at night, but then they go home. And then basically the homeless have more money than the person who's working in Amazon paying for their car, living in their car. So kind of see how that's like a bizarre dichotomy. So what I want you to tell you is, like, the only way to split the difference in America, you got to find a way to bring in money, make yourself valuable at the company, find passive forms of income, and you just basically make money. That's why sometimes I always say, you hear me say, money over God, because you can't even run a church if you don't have money coming in. I just think it's ironic. So that's why, as we head into the Christmas season, let's just feed people one time a year, man. Hey man, what's going on, bro? Let me give you some free food for November to December, and after that, get the fuck out of my lawn, man. So I just think it's funny because we're heading into the Christmas season and you're starting to hear the Christmas music. Halloween is more a representation of real life in America, because you should be scared, especially that 76% of people living paycheck to paycheck, and a majority of the young people, unfortunately, in California, we've lost all our technical jobs to Texas, Tennessee, Louisiana, and all the places back east. So basically all we have now, a bunch of warehouse jobs where Amazon's hired a bunch of people, which are overstaffed by about 50%. So I just fear once these diesel prices catch up to the gas prices, you're going to have a lot of layoffs. You're going to have a lot of logistic carriers coming out. And we'll get to find out how smart our California politicians and federal politicians really are about generating money. That's why I say you got to join my group. You need to learn how to strive during a recession. And you know the way you strive for the recession? You depend on your own economy, and you hustle like an immigrant, and you make that money. Because people always have money. But it's going to be for me to teach you the tips to get the money to say, hey, instead of drinking that money away or partying that money away, get that money to me so I can help you go out and reinvest in your skills to put you 1 or 2 months ahead of the other people who are losing their money, so you can at least have $100 to $500 saved away. You're not living paycheck to paycheck, or if some emergency happens, you don't have to pull out a 25% credit card. So that's why I'm doing this for you. In 2020, we're going to launch some programs. But for now, I just want to start laying a foundation. I just want you to just think. I want you to read in your newspaper, see how much the banks are offering, savings accounts. It's a half a percent. At least during my old man rent days, interest about 3 to 4%. I remember I put bonds in. I was getting about $150 to $200 a month back. Now, interest is half a percent. But the credit card interest is 19%. So that means if, like, I was at the supermarket, someone bought groceries, say you buy groceries for $103, and then your credit card is at 25%. So that means if you don't pay that credit card off, those $103 worth of groceries are going to cost you $128. So you're spending $28 to the bank to eat. So I don't want you to be that. I want you to at least pay for your groceries with the debit card or with cash. I don't want you ever to pay with your groceries with the credit card, because if that happens, that means you're doing something wrong. Email me, martinchang 2018.20 something. It's down there below. And if you can, come out to the Santa Anita racetrack, say hi to me. November 1st through 2nd, I'll be over in the grandstand serving you your drink.